Truth Seeker. Yesterday, December 13th, 2017, Tavis Smiley was suspended by PBS for allegations of sexual misconduct. Out of all the people I've seen be suspended, he's the first one who's responded immediately, and his response seemed honest. And I've said this before, talked about Tavis Smiley many times in the past. I do believe that if there's anyone who is sincere in the media, who is legitimate, out of all the people in the media, I think it's Tavis Smiley. He's always seemed authentic to me. He doesn't say a lot I disagree with. When Obama became president, he was soft towards Obama. He was apologetic, but over time he became critical, and he made a lot of important observations. Tavis Smiley seems like a real person. He might be the only real person in the media. Or he could also be a really good actor. But even looking at his response seemed authentic to me. Like, he laid it out. He said, I was in a 3-hour meeting. You know, they wouldn't let me know who any of the accusers were. They wouldn't give me any information. And then by the time the meeting was out, a news story had already broke that I was being suspended for sexual misconduct. And he said he's going to fight back. And, you know, Tavis, if you're out there, your one big mistake as a media personality is you haven't gotten in touch with me yet. For years, I've been doing the most important work, especially for the black people of this world. And I've been exposing a code that black people are shamed by. And you're now a part of it, Mr. Tavis Smiley. Let me show you what happened to you, if you don't know already. You were suspended on a date with numerology of 42. And I've been teaching about this number nonstop for years now. Notice you and Omarosa, you both got it on the same day. Omarosa was hired by the White House at age 42. January 4th, 2017, a date with numerology of 42. She was fired on a date with numerology of 42 the same day you were suspended. And here's the thing. This is just a short list. Language of gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. Let's just go here and do it. Black History Month is February, month that sums to 42. Number that's associated with Jackie Robinson, first black baseball player in white major league, which actually isn't true. That's the way most people know it. But he wore 42. Jackie equals 42. The word slavery equals 42. The hateful word for black people equals 42. The slang term for black people, brothers, equals 42. Black history on the bus, 42. You got two famous leaders. You got Martin Luther King Jr., the name Martin equals 42. You got the sitcom Martin. He lives in apartment number 42. You got Malcolm X, the name given to him, born Malcolm Little. In terms of TV, we talked about this last night. The Huxtable family. Huxtable, 42. Cosby Show, 42. When they were dragging Cosby through the mud on television, oftentimes the shaming headlines came on dates with 42 numerology, which I was covering back then. So anyway, 42, important number to black history. Of course, you got the syphilis experiment, 42. You got Muhammad Ali, who also changed his name. It wasn't his own choice. Muhammad Ali was always a puppet on a stick, born in 42. Got Parkinson's at 42, murdered by the code. I told everybody in 2014 why Muhammad Ali would die at age 74. He did. Of course, when you write out 42, it also sums to 74. So anyway, Tavis Smiley suspended. His response, he seems really caught off guard. He seems upset. Explains it's an injustice. Is it all part of a show? It's possible. It's also possible that Tavis Smiley was chosen because of his birthday and his name. This gang chooses people who have the right numbers. The people who control television, the Zionists, they do everything by the code. Tavis Smiley has the September 13th birthday, special day in history. 13/9 like 139. Freemasonry, 139. Remember, Tupac Shakur equals 139. He died on that date. Not coincidentally. Tavis Smiley's name also has gematria of 64, like Civil Rights Act in 64. Whoops. His name also has gematria of 71, Tavis Smiley. Notice civil rights in reverse is also 71. So is African American. Last year, 2016, October, covered this story about the Birth of a Nation. Birth of a Nation fizzles at the box office, only makes $7.1 million. And consider that this film came out October 7th, 7/10/71. Stories about Nat Turner. Nat Turner died in history November 11th, 1831. Date was 71 numerology. The movie's about him, Birth of a Nation. Birth of a Nation in reduction, 71. Just the same as African American. Civil rights. When I made this post, the Gematrinator calculator wasn't built yet. This is back before we had Gematrinator. Also, look at his birthday, October 2nd. You know, again, hateful word for black people has that gematria of 102. Civil War began on the 102nd day of the year. Remember the story with Freddie Gray? Freddie Gray arrested April 12th, dead April 19th. In history, the Civil War began April 12th. First casualty on April 19th in Baltimore when graycoats got in a conflict with protesters. Freddie Gray, graycoats, same dates from the Civil War. Freddie 42. There was the story about how 42% of people in Freddie's neighborhood are unemployed and uneducated. Not hard to see what's going on. So anyway, Tavis Smiley's got the name gematria for civil rights, African American, numbers they code in the media. He worked for PBS, which stands for Public Broadcasting Service. Look what's within those letters. 113, the number of mainstream deception. Mainstream 113, dishonest 113, not true 113, fiction 113, bullshit 113, and a whole lot more. Long list of 113 in dishonesty. And from his birthday on the 13th day of the month, he gets suspended 13 weeks later. And remember, 91 is also the 13th triangular number. It was 91 days after his birthday, or 13 weeks. Triangular number means if you add 1 through 13 together, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, all the way up to plus 13 equals 91. Now, something that I did notice that was interesting that jumped out at me, his name has other interesting gematria. 154 and 143 connect to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Sometimes people's names just have this. If we go and survey 1,000 people, 5, 10 people in that list are going to have name gematria of 154, 143. We do see these numbers a lot in people in the media, though. I noticed his response video. Everywhere you look, you'll see it's this length. It's 1:43 long. And if you look at a YouTube video, somehow a lot of you have never noticed this before. When YouTube puts up a thumbnail for a video, there's always plus 1 second on the thumbnail. I think if you watch it on your cell phone, it'll still show up as what it shows in the thumbnail. But if you watch it on your computer, it'll be a second less. So anyway, I found it interesting that he does have that name gematria in his response videos 1:43. That said, things do work out organically sometimes. I'm not using that against Tavis Smiley. I don't know if he's authentic or not, but if anybody knows a person that seems more authentic in the media, let me know. Or if anyone has any dirt on Tavis Smiley, you let me know. This might have been the most honest man in the media. That's what I would say he seems to me. And he seemed to be really caught off guard by this allegation and suspension. So Tavis Smiley, the one thing you've done wrong with your career is you haven't found my research, you haven't helped promote it, because it's the most important thing in the world. And that's not an untrue statement. It's 100% factual. Nobody else has put out the code that shows what's going on in this world. You know, from the shaming of black people to the staging of false flags to the rigging of sports to the rigging of elections. Code's been broken since 2013. You know? And people need to know. And now Tavis Smiley, the latest victim of the code. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.